everyone, it's Laura from Laura's Handcrafted Treats and Treasures. Welcome to or back to my channel. Alright, I'm coming on here with a little bit of a different project today. I'm going to be featuring Carolyn's Musings papers. So I will have links. I'm going to have a link to her Ko-fi shop, a link to her YouTube, and a link to her Etsy shop. She also has a Facebook page. Did I mention that? Okay, I'll try to get them all in there. And a link to this particular paper. So, before we get into this, I wanted to just make mention of these beautiful flower, different patterns. I just picked these up from her shop not too long ago, but I'm loving them. I'm always looking for little, bits and pieces to put on my projects, as we all do. And I found these birdhouses too. Aren't they cute? And I just got myself a new toy. I just bought a Brothers Scan and Cut, which I'm absolutely loving. And I love that, I'm hoping it will pick this up, but the lines around here are perfect because I tried it yesterday, played with it a little bit, but I can get it to cut just inside that line because I'm not a big lover of fussy cutting. If you follow me, I don't like it. I'll do it. I don't mind the square stuff, I don't mind the easy stuff. But yeah, so I will link all of these as well if you're just looking for those easy little things you can put on your projects. Okay, so let's get back to this. So I reached out to Miss Carolyn. Thank you so much for doing this for me. I reached out to her and asked her if she could do any Easter hymns, like in the size that she had done for Vanessa, that would fit the little golden books. And she was just gracious enough to do that. She ended up making a kit that not only has this size, but has regular 8.5 by 11 sizes. But so this fits this little golden book. Now, I know I had one somewhere that was the Easter book. I can't find it. But wouldn't this be pretty to make add to your little golden book? Which I'm going to try to do another one of these. I do mine a little bit different than Vanessa, although I'd like to try hers too, but I do mine with the cinch wires. I take everything apart, put it all back together, and anyway, that's another video, but it'd be great for that. But what I'm going to be using this for, and specifically why I wanted this size, was when she had done the ones for Vanessa, the manger scene, and I'll try to pop a picture in here of what I did, but she had different, hymns from like Christmas time. And I ended up making this plaque, this one right here. So I decided, I want to make some of those only in the Easter hymns. Now, the reason I needed this size was my husband does, he makes cupboards. And he always has these pieces left over from these cupboards. And I had him cut a bunch that were this size, thinking, oh, I'm going to make a bunch of the manger scene ones. But I thought, oh, I want to do some Easter ones. So Miss Carolyn was gracious enough. I reached out to her and said, could you make some of these in this size? And she did it. I'm so excited. Not only did she do that, but she also made the crosses and some lilies. Like, aren't these cute? So my original plan was I was going to use the real wood, and I still may do one this way. Now, this came from something else that I have done, and I thought I want to use the real crosses made out of the wood pieces. Only problem is they're just too big. I mean, I suppose I could fit them on there, And then I would wrap one of these in purple because I didn't even think about doing it in purple until I saw that. But they're just a little bit too big. I need them to be a little bit smaller. So I think what I'm going to do is I am going to use the crosses that were provided. Now, when I was playing with my scan and cut, I was able to cut all of these out. I did have to go back in because I couldn't shrink them in too much or they would take too much of the actual picture out. So I had a little bit of white around here. So I did go in and fussy cut that out. And I did that on all of them. So what I'm going to do first, oh, one thing else I want to mention is, so I did this on 110 weight paper. This is usually the cardstock that I use to do the fussy cuts. And once I did, I was like, man, I think I did the manger ones with the lighter weight paper. So this is 28 weight paper. And what I will do is, like I said, I will put it on here. But first things first, I used, it's a Waverly water base, seals and protects, but it is a, it's like a wax. It's like a wax color, and you put it on and then you take it off. So I've got me a sock here, and then I've got my little egg cartons that I saved so I can use them for this project. And then we're just gonna, ooh, that's probably too much. Hopefully I can dump it back in there. Running out, I gotta get some more of that. So I'm just gonna basically sponge it on. And I'm just gonna kind of be, with the sponge, I may not even have to wipe it off. Let's see. Okay, but I will because I don't want it to be left with a super filmy, waxy surface. So, and I have protected my surface because I knew I was going to do that. And then I'm just going to go ahead and get all this done. And I'm going to do front and back. Although you may not see the back, I just like to do it. And I'm going to do all the sides and then I'll be back. Okay, so I have it all ready to go, front and back. Now the sides, the reason they look this way is because the wood is, type of wood is pressed together. So when you cut it, you kind of see this. But I have a couple of different things I might try. I might try my gold or silver paint pen, or I might try this rub and buff to do the edges. But while that's drying, we can put that over there. I want to make sure it's fully dry, so I probably won't mess with it until tomorrow. But I can still get the prep work for this done. So I'm going to take my lighter weight paper, and I actually had a measurement somewhere when I first did this that showed me exactly how I wanted to measure those out, because this one is 6.5, and I think I want a little bit hanging over so that the wood shows. So I think I'm gonna take, where do we see? Let's see, this is 6.5, so I've got plenty of room. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna start my first tear. And I'm going to start it about right here. Now you can cut it. It doesn't have to be torn. I just like the tear look, or you can just take a regular ruler and do this, or you can rough up your edges. But I'm going to go ahead and just press down really hard on your ruler so your paper's not shifting. Okay, so I got that one. And then I'm actually going to measure this up. And what did I say? I said 6.25, I think, is gonna work to give me a little bit on each edge. And I might want a little bit more, but once you do the tear, it's hard to tear it again. So I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.25, which is here. And I'm gonna go ahead and tear at 6.25, and hope and hope I've got the tear right. If not, I could have went in just a little bit more. I'm going to try to even up the edges, and this looks like it's even. Although I'm going to cover those flowers up with the bigger flowers. I was going to do something else with those, but I was like, oh, that'll work perfect. All right, so I'm just going to bring my wood back in. And yes, that's great. I can see a little bit of the wood on each side. I love that. I could have done a little bit more, but I'm not going to worry about it. So now on the top, I'm just going to go right up past that black line, and I'm going to catch those flowers because I can take more off of the bottom. And this is just how I kind of did it. Like I said, you're not going to see those flowers anyway. So, and there's actually 2 different ones of this. I think in the one she had roses behind it, which was really pretty too. So pick whichever one you want. Okay, and then this is about 7, and let's see, 1, 3, 5, 7 5/8. It's a little bit, so I'm gonna go to 7 3/8, or eyeball it as close, because I don't have a 3/8 on my mat here that I can eyeball it. So I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I'm gonna say here's an 1/8. This is 3/8. I'm going to try to go in between that quarter right there. So 1/8, 3/8. And I'm looking here too to make sure I've sort of gotten that correct. Although I think I'm going to do something different with the bottom as well. All right. So now I have my paper. Okay. Which I'm going to try to get a little more off of one side. I do want to see a little bit more of the wood. In the bottom, I don't think it's going to matter, because what I want to do, you're not going to see. But I'm going to do it right now so you can see what I'm talking about. Like, sometimes it's not the easiest. If you don't get it in that first try, it's a little bit more difficult. And I always go from the larger sheet this way. If you try to peel off that little tiny edge, it would be harder. So, and I'm just gonna go slow. I'm gonna press really hard, and it's working. Yay! And it doesn't have to be perfect. I just want it to be close. Oh, this is gonna be great. Oh, great, 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 great. Yes, much, much better, even better. Okay, so here. And I think I am going to take a little bit more off of that bottom. Although you're not going to see it, I don't want you to see it. I don't think you're going to see it at all. But I don't want it hanging over either. So I'm just going to take a smidgen off of that. Once I get that done, I don't need to do that on camera. I'm going to ink up all of my edges. And my plan of action is this. I'm going to put my pieces in, and what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to pop this up on foam dots. I'm going to pop that one up on foam dots, and it'll be almost be like a 3D look, and these ones will be in the background. So I think that's going to be really cool. Couple little things I'm going to let you know that I'm going to do before I come back on camera is, once this is dry, I'm going to go ahead on whatever side. It doesn't really matter because you're not really going to see a lot of it, but this looks like the edges are a little bit better for me. I'm going to go ahead and put a whole layer of Mod Podge on this. I'm going to let it dry, and then when I come back on, which will be real time, no time for you, but it'll be tomorrow for me, I am going to iron this on. This is just a cool way I've learned, and some of you may know this, of getting your projects glued back down to your sheet. Then I'm going to Mod Podge over all of this. I believe I'm going to Mod Podge these too, because I do want it to be somewhat durable. Gesso or Mod Podge something. Another thing I wanted to mention was to get rid of all of the white, and I see I have a little bit more in here that I want to get rid of. I literally just took my marker and I went around everything. And this one I kind of had to lay down and just kind of get in there. I probably should find my smaller tip, a smaller tip black. But if you do it from the back, you risk less chance of scraping it out over your project. So those were a couple things I wanted to mention. I will get the other stuff done, and then we'll be back to put this together. And I'm thinking about doing this. I think there's going to be something on the top, and I have something for the bottom. I think that's going to be pretty cool. So, all right, well, I'll be back in a minute for you. All right, so I am back. I have put the Mod Podge on. I did the sides. I haven't done the back side yet. I will. But I put that on, and I just used a matte medium Mod Podge. And for those who've never worked with this before, it's a glue. So you can use it to like put napkins on stuff and basically glue things down. And then here's a little trick that everyone was doing. I'm like, oh, I have to try this. And this was a game changer. So the Mod Podge is on and it's dry. I let it dry. My wood's dry. My stain is dry. Now I've taken my graphic here, and if you can see along the edges here, I took my paint pen, and I have a gold paint pen, and I just kind of went around it to give it a little bit of a gold touch. So what I'm going to do now, oh, another thing I did was I tried to use my gold paint pen here, but this was a little bit rough. I didn't sand it down quite as good as it probably should be. So I'm going to sand my other ones down a little bit more around the edges. But I did put Mod Podge over here, and I thought, well, maybe that would help me get that paint pen on there. So we'll see, but I have a couple different solutions for that if that doesn't work out. And it doesn't really matter like who's going to do this. You're going to be looking at it like this. All right. Let's get this down. So I'm going to go ahead and position this where I want this. Now this is a little HTV ONT. I got it from Walmart. This is where I got my heat press as well. I didn't buy a Cricut. Much less expensive, and I'm telling you, it just this is a little game changer too. Like I've said before, I don't buy things unless I'm really sure and I really know that I'm going to get use out of them. It's just a waste of money, I think, if I don't. So I have to be positive it is something I want. Well, not disappointed so far with any of my choices over the years of the products that I've bought. All right, I'm going to get that where I want it. Did I just move it? Or did I just move the mat? And I'm trying to center it pretty good around all edges, although with what I'm going to do with this, I don't think we're going to see it. But I have it where I want it. Now, this is the most important part. You need parchment paper. Do not use wax paper. You need a butcher paper or a parchment paper, something that is not going to melt, okay? So I'm going to take my little device here, and then I just put it on the number 2 setting. If I feel like it's too hot, I'll switch it back and start over. But right now, I'm just gonna go ahead and go over this. Now what we're doing is we are heating that Mod Podge back up. We're sort of making it come back to life so that this paper is going to stick to it. I'm telling you, for napkins, for anything, I've done this several times. It's just a game changer. You can do this with fabric. If you want to glue fabric onto something, it's awesome. All right, so I'm gonna take that off, kind of test it. Yep, it's gluing. And then I just go around, and if I can't get any of the edges up, then I know it's glued down. Isn't that awesome? So now when you're doing your napkins, and you even want to do them on paper and that, you can just put your Mod Podge on your book page, and then you can let it dry and come back and iron your napkin on, which I have done, and it's awesome. All right, so I'm just going to give that good measure, turn my little machine off here. It does come with this little cradle too, so I'm not burning my desk. That's always a good thing. All right, it's on there. All right, so another thing I'm gonna do before I move on, get this out of the way. I'm going to use this basic, it's a basic acrylic matte fluid medium. I could put the Mod Podge back over it, but this is new for me. I wanted to give it a try because I want to use it in some other things I'm doing. So I went ahead and did it over top of the crosses and the flowers. Now they do curl up a little bit, but no worries. When they dry enough, I can just put them under something, you know, hard to make them go back out. But I wanted to give them a little bit more protection on here. But I want to protect this too, because this is something that I want to display every year. I want to bring it out and I want to display it. So I'm going to use this and cover it. I'm going to get that dried. I'm going to dry that with my heat gun real quick. And then I'm going to come back, and I think I said yesterday that I want to sort of build these up. I want them to sort of look 3D, where these are actually just glued down. So I'm going to go ahead and get that done. I'm going to work on the edges, and then I'll be back. So here we are. You can see that I've got it ready to go. I've already glued these down. Now I will say, when I did put that matte medium on there, it started to bubble, and I thought, oh, maybe it reacted to what was underneath it. Maybe it wasn't dry enough. I don't know, but I hurried up, got my heat gun, dried it off, came back in with my parchment paper and my little iron here, and I smoothed it back down. So I don't know if this is something I may need to do the matte medium before I glue it on, but it worked out anyhow. Also, it just made it brighter. So if you look at the paper before the matte medium, you know, it just looks like paper, which I could print this on probably like a glossy type paper just to get that to come out, but I like the matte finish, to be honest. So anyway, that's done. And then I had just gotten some of this gold ribbon, and I thought, you know what, I think I'm going to put this on the bottom. Now I went and got moss, and I thought, oh, I'm going to put some moss across there. That was my first idea. I didn't like it at all, and I thought, gosh, for storing it and to bring it out every year, you know, that's just, it's going to be a mess. So I'm not going to do that. I might do it if I did the real, you know, wood like I showed you when I started the video. But actually, I'm loving this. I'm loving what Miss Carolyn has sent me, and oh my gosh. So I want to get a 3D effect. So what I'm going to do, what I've done is I went ahead and put foam tape on the back. Now I colored this one because I thought, well, what if you can see the white? I mean, you literally would have to be doing this in order to even know that foam tape is on there. But I wanted to give it that like little raised effect, but I still want it to touch like the gold. And of course I want crisscross, you know, a little bit higher and in the center. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my second one, and before I put anything down, I just set it on top of each other, and I might offset this one just a tad, just a little bit when I put the other foam, and then it will give it that 3D effect that I'm looking for, 2D, 3D, however. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then when I get to the flowers, I'm definitely putting these. I think I might go around these with that gold paint pen again. Or not again, I haven't done it. But I think I'll go around that with the gold paint pen. And then these are going to go up in the corner. And I may pop these up too. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. And then I want something on the top. I don't know if it's going to be a bow. I don't know if I'm going to do flowers. I don't quite know. I may end up just leaving it blank if I put some things together and it just doesn't come out. All right, so a little bit about this. So I went back in and I thought, well, I'll add some more Mod Podge. And then again, you know, because this would be hard to glue, I'm going to take my parchment paper and use my iron. Well, I didn't want it to stick super down tight just in case I decided to lift it up. But you definitely could go Mod Podge it, let it dry, or dry it with your heat gun. And then that's how you're going to get that glued back down. But it did stay. So I may Like I said, I got the crosses on there now and I did like it. So I may go back through and just sort of put a little bit more on there of the Mod Podge just to make sure that stays in place. Because I'm sure if I pulled it now, it would come up. Okay, enough gabbing. The next time I come back, this is going to be finished and I'm going to show you how I'm going to display it. I'll be back. Okay, here it is. I love it. I think I'm going to do them all like this. I'm going to scrap the real wood idea. Because I think they're just gorgeous. The only thing on the top, I didn't want to add anything else because it's going to cover up Jesus Christ is risen today. I didn't want to do that, but I did think about a butterfly, and I have this purple one. How perfect, right? So what I usually do is cut the antennas off, and then I did go around it with a black marker just to get rid of that white. And then I just put my own little antennas on. And real quick, I'll show you how I do that. If I can find my other little piece I just cut. Well, I'll just cut another one. I should just go through and make a bunch of these because I'm forever, oh, here it is. I'm forever making my own antennas. So I'm gonna squish that bottom and I'm gonna go ahead and take my pokey tool or any little round tool, and be careful with this wire. I'm sorry, I should have showed you. I'm using this. So it'll poke you, so just be careful. So I'm just gonna hold it like this, and then I'm gonna kind of put my finger there and curl it. And you might have to do that a few times until you get the curl that you want. Turn it around and I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm just gonna hold it tight and I'm gonna curl it. This one looks like it needs it a little bit more. But anyway, then you end up with this, and then I went ahead and pinched the bottom real tight and just kind of fool with it to get it where I want it. Then I went ahead and put a piece of score tape. Score tape's a heavy duty tape, and it's gonna hold that wire because this can be fiddly, so gluing it is gonna be a pain in the butt because you're gonna have to hold it there until your glue dries, and this just kind of gets it where I want it. So I'm just gonna put it right there, and then of course it's sticky as well. I'm gonna get that where I want it. Oop. Move it up if you need to, which I felt like I needed to. Okay, and then I'm gonna go ahead, once it's kind of laid where I want it, I'm gonna put another piece of score tape over top of that, which then I will stick to the board. Okay, get that where I want it. I don't know, one thing I can't cut around the antennas, it drives me insane. And so I just like to make my own, plus I like the way it looks. So then I sort of, when I first started working it, I sort of bent it in the middle, and then I just did this to curl the wings too, to make that also a 3D effect. And I'm just gonna give it one more little swipe, and then I'm gonna place it right there. All right, isn't it gorgeous? I just love it. Miss Carolyn, thank you so much for doing the papers for me. I absolutely love it. There are a couple things that I might do. Now, I hung the flowers over the edge, but for storing, I'm always thinking, how am I gonna store this? These might get a little crinkled and stuff. So what I might do is I might just trim them off, or I might go ahead and leave them because I could always go in and print more. What I might do the next time is print one, like I might flip that page so that it prints sort of opposite, so like this would be sort of facing this way, because that way my flowers could mirror each other and this one wouldn't stick off so far. So that's a possibility, but I absolutely love it. Now you can put a hanger on the back, or you can display it in a book. Oh gosh, it escapes me. Anyway, I'm going to show you how I'm going to display it. And I hope you found this helpful and fun. I hope you make some. You do not have to use wood. I should mention that as well. You can just cut down chipboard. You could glue some chipboard together to get a thickness that you like. And then also I am going to go back and use that pen and see what I can get from that, but I'm not worried about it because the way I'm going to display it, you're going to see it like looking at it. You're not going to see the sides. So anyway, I hope you all found that helpful, and I hope you run over there and grab them kits. Everything's in the description box below. Have a great day. Bye.